Physician, scientist, searching for a way to tap into the hidden strengths that all humans have. Then an accidental overdose of gamma radiation alters his body chemistry. And now when David Banner grows angry or outraged, a
Latoya Cantrell.
occurs.
It's the Mayor Latoya Cantrell show. She's turning green with envy.
The creature is driven by rage and pursued by an investigative
The creature is driven by
Don't make
rage.
me angry. You wouldn't like me when I'm angry.
Take it easy, Latoya. That sounded just like Latoya Cantrell. That voice had to be Latoya Cantrell, not Dan Banner. Is it Banner? David Banner? That wasn't the Hulk. You wouldn't like me when I'm angry. That was Latoya Cantrell. Oh, boy. Yeah, you right. Keep it clean, people. Yeah, you right. A wide open Wednesday edition of the program. Corey Johnson back at you. Are we about to get a little rain today? And it just looks like it's going to be a little. I don't see any kind of downpour or deluge or grass or plant watering rain. Be pulling out the whole hose and watering the plants if you just put some landscaping in or something like that. You're not getting any relief. I don't see it, but I'm not a meteorologist. My car's still very dusty, and I drove through some raindrops today because it was raindrops, nothing. Are we going to get some rain today? I don't know. It's almost to keep your fingers crossed. We desperately need it. We could use a good deluge. We could use a half an inch of rain or so over a few hours. No doubt about it. It is a wide open Wednesday edition of the program. It's wide open on Wednesday. More so than Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday. You're the show producer. Whatever you'd like to discuss. Maybe something that's not being discussed enough. Something that's not being discussed at all. We're ready to take it on. We never screen phone calls. We never cut off folks that we disagree with. We can keep up with the conversation. We're knowledgeable. Or dare I say it, I'll say I don't know. I don't know. It's a pretty interesting concept. A lot of talk radio show hosts out there should try it sometime. Hey, you found us. Spread the word. Tell your friends and family. 93.9 FM. Oh, so fine. 93.9. Easy to remember. Even better if you lock and load that bad boy. Make it one of your presets. Oh, so fine. 93.9 FM. You can also check out the program at 4 p.m. on 107.9 FM. New Orleans' own 107.9 FM. 600 AM. Another way to check out the program on the AM side of the dial. That little sneaky bad boy station, a little powerful AM, goes from like Baton Rouge through the North Shore, New Orleans, into southern Mississippi, southern Alabama, panhandle of Florida even. 600 AM. Take it with you on the road. You know, we're on TV. 2 hours on radio, 4 to 6 o'clock. 90 minutes, the first hour and a half of the 2-hour talk radio program, simulcast on television. We've been doing that about 15 years now. Cox Channel 4 television, all over Louisiana. It's called Your View, Louisiana. I love Cox Channel 4. Spectrum Channel 333 television. Charter, Spectrum 333, all over Louisiana from 4 to 5:30. CoreyTalks.com, live streaming. Hey, we're on YouTube. Click to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Send the link to a pal or friend. Trying to build that a little bit. Our YouTube channel, Corey Johnson Neutral Ground. Yeah, you right. The mayor had a media release, press release. The recall, this is after the 45-day recall financial report release. 45 days in, I guess 25% of the way in, and I believe a little north of 25% of signatures have come in, so still a little ahead of pacing. We'll get Eileen Carter on the program, maybe tomorrow, get an update. The mayor's release. The recall is a Republican-backed effort with 2 Trump mega donors contributing more than half of the effort. Hey, that Susan Spicer at Bayona, she's a real nightmare. So is her restaurant, Bayona. By the way, it's one of my favorites. I'll be there tonight enjoying the shrimp and the lamb loin. I wish I was going to Bayona tonight. That's how much I love it. Susan Spicer and Bayona are a nightmare, and Bayona is a terrible restaurant. I'll be there tonight at 8 o'clock enjoying that great bread presentation. I mean, worth that alone. And then, yeah, I'll probably get the shrimp with the black bean cake and the coriander sauce and that lamb loin with the goat cheese. I don't know much about it because Susan Spicer and Bayona is a nightmare. But I'll be there tonight because I love it. I don't know. You get what I'm doing here? LaToya Cantrell, the recall effort is a Republican-backed effort with 2 Trump mega donors contributing more than half of the effort. One of the Trump mega donors is Boise Bollinger, who gave LaToya Cantrell, not once, twice, the maximum amount allowed by an individual, $5,000 in her first election for mayor of New Orleans and $5,000 in her run for a second term. He also contributed $25,000 to a LaToya Cantrell PAC. I don't get the mayor saying it's a Republican-backed effort with 2 Trump mega donors. That is beyond disingenuous. And I don't know, maybe that'll help keep some just hardcore black folks on the sideline. I had Oliver Thomas on yesterday. I was talking about the radio station he's on. It's like living in 1975. Like, Whitey's the devil, down with the Jew. I mean, it's insane radio. I listen out of Comic Relief. I used to listen to Bob Namer and Keith Rush. You're like, who? Exactly. You know, just a couple of dopes that, especially Keith Rush, late in his career, just bitter and ticked off. I'd listen and just laugh. It was comical. It was urinating in your pants funny. It was Comic Relief. I mean, there were 9 people listening, including their family members and me, but I found it funny. This station's sort of similar. It's got I think their base is about 100 hardcore inner city black folks that are mad at Whitey, just bitter and ticked off, kind of like the bitter white dude in Metri. The damn blacks ruin the city. It's their counterpart in the city, the mad racist black person. That's basically, LaToya Cantrell, you could find her in bed with your husband, and some of these folks would be like, it was okay. You know, it's, I mentioned this before, just that the person that loves Donald Trump unequivocally. I always talk about the extremes. Jeff Landry running for governor, the wacky right-wing guy. LaToya Cantrell and Jeff Landry use the exact same political playbook. Pointing fingers at the opposition. The opposition sucks. The opposition's out to get you. And I'm not going to really do anything in my job as a civil servant and, you know, help anyone. The mayor is a trip. She's saying the recall is a Republican-backed effort with 2 Trump mega donors contributing more than half the effort. One of them contributed $35,000 that we can see so far. It might be more to LaToya Cantrell. $25,000 her key PAC and $5,000 each time she ran for mayor, the maximum I'm allowed to give. It's comical. The mayor is busting on one of her biggest donors. It's the mayor's, you know, hey, who was following me? Why all these cameras of me down at my apartment? I mean, the city's apartment in the French Quarter. Mayor, it's your people's cameras. It's the French Quarter, you know, the Vieux Carré Commission, or not the Vieux Carré Commission, the French Quarter Corporation. It's their cameras busting you at the apartment that they control. So you're busted by yourself. The mayor controls that. It's the city of New Orleans. Don't point the finger. You got popped by your own cameras, literally. And saying the recall effort is by a bunch of Trump Republicans, including one that donated to me heavily. The recall effort is backed by one of my key supporters when I was running for mayor, not once, but twice. This guy supported me just the last time I was running a year ago for re-election. And now he's changed his mind. And like the mayor, she should be familiar with this. He's doubling down. Corey Johnson with you. on a wide open Wednesday edition of the program. Yeah, the mayor's accusing someone backing the recall effort that backed her heavily. Only Mayor LaToya the Destroyer Cantrell. I shouldn't say only. Facts do not matter. Hey, Fausto's Italian Bistro opens in 45 minutes. What a great Italian and Sicilian meal you could be having for dinner tonight. Fausto's Italian Bistro opens at 5. They'll go till 9 p.m. tonight. When the weather's like this, consider outdoor dining at Fausto's or their air-conditioned dining room. Sit at the bar, check out some action on TV. Fausto's Italian Bistro. Yummy.
The Woodhouse Day Spa, the premier day spa experience, now with 4 area locations. Canal at Carrollton, on the North Shore in Slidell, in Baton Rouge by the Mall of Louisiana, and now in Metairie, West Esplanade at Transcontinental. The Woodhouse Day Spa.
Scott Craig of Katie's Restaurant.
All of my ingredients are fresh. Nothing comes out of a can here. Nothing. All of our seafood is Louisiana. All of our vegetables are Louisiana vegetables. It's a neighborhood restaurant.
Katie's in Mid-City. Greater New Orleans, a destination for learning. With 13 colleges and universities and a booming job market, Greater New Orleans is the ultimate destination for your higher education. Your path to the future begins in Greater New Orleans. Find out more at studynola.com.
For game-changing innovation, look to the Latrim family of companies located in Harahan. Intralocks, a Latrim company, changed the game when they invented modular plastic conveyor belts over 40 years ago. These belts and innovative Intralocks technology are transforming movement in manufacturing facilities around the world. Intralocks is a dynamic global company now hiring in production, warehousing, shipping, and more. If you want to be part of our successful team, visit Latrim.com. That's LAITRAM.com.
The Lamarck Automotive Collision Center, it's open now. We fix cars and trucks. We do all makes and models. And it doesn't have to be a Ford or a Lincoln. It could be whatever you're driving. 32,000 square feet under roof, now open at 3101 Williams Boulevard. It's all about you, the customer, getting the most for your dollar. I would say the most perfect collision center anyway. The Lamarck Automotive Collision Center, 3101 Williams Boulevard. Go check it out.
Rouse's Market is hiring. With 65 stores, fuller part-time employment, and flexible scheduling, Rouse's has a job for you, or maybe even a career. Apply at any Rouse's store or online at rouses.com.
Trey Yen in Mandeville, a New Orleans tradition for over 40 years, serving the finest Louisiana-inspired Chinese cuisine. Open Tuesday through Sunday. Trey Yen. Young's Dry Cleaning has free pickup and delivery. That's right. Young's Dry Cleaning has absolutely free pickup and delivery. Home or office, East Bank or West Bank. Call Young's at 288-8381 or online at youngsdrycleaning.com.
For home surveillance, it's Tommy's Lock and Alarms. With high-definition night vision surveillance systems, letting you see what's going on. Home surveillance that's smart, safe, secure. Tommy's Lock and Alarms. Google them.
When you think of Fury's restaurant in Metairie, you think about fresh local fish like flounder, snapper, and speckled trout, fried, broiled, or grilled. Fury's restaurant in Metairie.
Total maintenance keeps you cool. NolaAC.com, your blue socks. NolaAC.com, your blue socks.
The Port of New Orleans is the gateway to global commerce, the economic engine that moves Louisiana and our country forward. For more than 125 years, Port Nola has continued to deliver the goods we use each and every day, by river, rail, and by road. No matter what, it all happens right here, delivering Louisiana's future at the Port of New Orleans, your working river. Learn more about your Port of New Orleans. Visit portnola.com.
Why wear the same old glasses that everyone else is wearing? Stand out from the crowd. Come to Art and Eyes. Art and Eyes is not your typical eyeglasses store. It's one of the finest eyewear shops in the country, right here in New Orleans, with precision-engineered prescription lenses and gorgeous high-quality frames from the heart of Europe, Japan, and the United States. Our products are thoughtfully curated, and our staff are here to help you find exactly the right frames. Art and Eyes, a magazine as unique as you.
Yeah, you right. Corey Johnson with you on a wide open Wednesday edition of the program. Thanks so much for joining us, New Orleans, South Louisiana. We're on radio, we're on television, YouTube, lots of ways to check out the program. Really fired up about this guy joining us on the program because I absolutely loved his dad. His dad was, the best thing I've ever seen come through Louisiana in my 56 years living here as far as politics. And in typical Louisiana fashion, kind of showed him the door, sadly. This guy was trying to implement change that North Carolina put into play maybe in the 70s and 80s. Look at North Carolina now. You go back to the 70s and 80s, there wasn't a city in that state. It's like Arkansas or Alabama or Mississippi, Kentucky, not even a city in that state. North Carolina, explosive growth. Charlotte, over 2.5 million in the metro. The Research Triangle has more folks than Metro New Orleans now. Buddy Roemer was the man back in the late 80s trying to put in these North Carolina type reforms. But a lot of the Edwin Edwards crew on the sidelines and even in the game, pretty much sabotaging everything he did. He changes in office during his first term from Democrat to Republican. And what does the Louisiana Republican Party do? They endorse a hyper-evangelical, I think it was Clyde Holloway out of Baton Rouge, who pulled just enough Republican vote away from Roemer, where it dragged Buddy Roemer down to essentially a three-way tie with David Dork and Edwin Edwards. But those two came in first and second place, Roemer third, out of the runoff. The Republican Party wouldn't back the incumbent Republican as governor. And the reforms went away. Edwin Edwards got back into play, and the rest is history. And we are where we are today because of shying away from what Buddy Roemer wanted to do 35 years ago. Chaz Roemer, Buddy Roemer's son, joins us live on the program. How's that for an introduction, Chaz?
I broke out in a cold sweat. I was having flashbacks, Corey. That was quite an introduction, and we appreciate your kindness over the last year since my dad passed. But appreciate the invite and appreciate the introduction.
What have you been up to, man? Besides, doing a little civil service of your own.
Well, so my dad and I worked together up until the moment he passed away, and we have a company that he did most of the heavy lifting. So I want to be fair to him. He started a bank here in Louisiana that's been very successful. I helped in some degree to that, but then he and I started a separate company that looks to invest in companies that we think can have an impact in the future of our state and our country. So that's what I spend most of my time on, and try to look for innovative ideas and ways to make us relevant and competitive.
Well, that's the name, right? Chaz Roemer Innovations.
It is. He begrudgingly agreed to a name change. We started kind of making a transition as he was starting to slow down a little bit, and we changed the name of our company to give me a little more of the headline there, and really to try to highlight the innovation as a key to what we're doing. There's a lot of things we can do to improve our state and our country without throwing the baby out with the bathwater, and we sometimes overlook those things. So we try to find ways to improve things as they stand today and make them better for the future.
Chaz Roemer's joining us on the program this afternoon. Hey, Chaz, you were basically running the state's education system for a while there. It looked like that was like another step on the ladder. Maybe this guy's going to run for Senate or maybe lieutenant governor, maybe governor. And then you kind of fell off the political map there for a little while. Are you getting back into politics, or you're done for good with that?
I don't know if I'm done for good. I served 2 terms and was glad to do so. I voluntarily didn't run again. one of our problems is we have career politicians, and it's hard to be honest. If you are around long enough that you're having to pass judgment on your own work, I don't think most people are very good at doing that. So I served 2 terms. I was 8 years, and it was time for new people to come in. So I stepped away. I had 2 kids at the time. I still have 2 kids, but they're now in college. And put more time into my family and my business, and I felt good about that. And now I'm trying to figure out, I'm only 52, so I'm still a relatively young person, and I'm looking for ways. Our company looks for ways in the private sector how to improve our state, and I have my eye open for, if the right opportunity came around and the right circumstances that I could consider doing it. But I don't sit around at home, plotting out a major political, strategy. I just try to find ways to, help our state and improve the lives of everyone.
What's unbelievable, if you ran for governor, you could pick up your dad's Roemer Revolution playbook from 35 years ago, and pretty much 90% of it would still be applicable to this very day. Let's get rid of the airplanes. Let's get rid of the helicopters. Let's get rid of the vehicles we're not using. Let's get rid of the property that's sitting there that's got value that costs us that we're not using. Hey, let's have the Department of Environmental Quality, DEQ, actually do their job. We want to work with oil and gas and chemical, not drive them away, but not let them abuse us. I can go on and on and on. Education, infrastructure. I mean, Roemer Revolution, we ran from it like it was something evil. Unbelievable.
Well, it was crazy. It's not that the plans were, you didn't have to be a genius to come up with those plans. You just had to have courage, the willingness to stand up and talk about it. And that's what we lack, and we have lacked for some time. Is the willingness to take hard stands, which quite frankly, they're not that hard if you look at what we're trying to get done. Trying to improve education in the state, trying to improve opportunities in the state. I look at a big issue that we deal with now that everybody likes to talk about is, the energy transition. Well, quite frankly, we can use our oil and gas in this state and do it more cleanly and continue to use it to provide people with affordable, abundant energy. But we don't do that. We have abandoned our own industry, and that's going to end up hurting us at the end and cost us jobs. Again, these aren't revolutionary ideas. It's called common sense and courage to stand up and do what's right.
No, I remember I was at LSU, late 80s, went and saw your dad at the Union, and I was friends with Campbell Brown. Good friends with her. She was in our little crew. We joked that if my dad wins, we're all moving in the governor's mansion. We used to laugh about that. And then I had to tell Cammy, I said, Cammy, I got to tell you, I got to hand you back this little state pin with Brown 87 on it because this Roemer guy just won my vote tonight. And your dad just got up there and he'd rattle off the problems and then give a solution. It was just mind-blowing, something I've never seen. And then all the other Louisiana folks were doing their usual thing. It is easy. It is common sense, Chaz. Why do we shy away from it decade in, decade out in Louisiana? And I've expanded on one of your dad's lines. Corey, all New Orleans and Louisiana cares about is carnival. If that's a go, everything's okay down there. And I use as long as hunting and fishing season, 3 for 1 at the bar, and Mardi Gras is a go, all is good in New Orleans and Louisiana. So I've expanded your dad's quote, which was 110% right on the money. I loved it. We laughed. Why are we kind of broken, sort of second rate, a lot of us? Why do we settle? LSU Saints, we fire the coach or the GM or whoever's in charge if we don't beat Alabama or Atlanta or Tampa Bay. New Orleans is getting crushed by Austin and Nashville. Louisiana is getting cremated by the rest of the southern states. Why do we allow such blatant defeat?
It's a great question. I don't believe, I said this earlier when we first started the conversation. We have a lot of career politicians. We have a lot of people that's what they want to do for a living.
Yep.
And if that's what you want to do for a living, how willing are you to be courageous? How willing are you to suggest certain changes? How willing are you to sacrifice? How willing are you to not take a donation from a certain person or a certain company because they're not doing the right thing? So I don't want to blame the people. I love the fact that we hunt and fish in this state. That makes us better in a lot of places.
I do
now, here's
too.
our problem. If we're short-sighted, which we tend to be, most people are. I worry about what's going to happen to my family in a week from now. That's not unnatural. However, if we continue to be short-sighted, you're going to wake up one day. We still have out-migration in this state. We still, and this has been for 25 years or more consecutive, more people leaving this state every day than coming into it. Now, if we keep doing that, and we don't turn around what our goals are, and what our aspirations are, and what we think we should be as a state, then the hunting and fishing is not going to matter anymore. There're not going to be any jobs here.
Yep. No, I love the hunting and fishing. I love Mardi Gras. I know your dad did too, but that is sort of, we're great at the Friday 5 p.m. to Monday 9 a.m. stuff. We're just not that good with the Monday through Friday 9 to 5 stuff. Chaz Roemer's with us. We're going to take a quick break, come right back, more with Chaz Roemer. No, Chaz, as you know, the last 40, 50 years, Texas, fastest growing state, the South, the fastest growing region. We're surrounded by it, and we didn't miss the boat. We missed the rocket ship. More with Chaz Roemer when we return. Don't move.
Tommy's Lock and Alarms is now hiring service and installation technicians. Great benefits, great pay, take-home vehicle. Apply today. Tommy'sLockandAlarms.com.
Kanye West was seen shopping at Super Discount Store in Chalmette.
I am Shakespeare in the flesh. Walt Disney, Nike, Google.
Okay, I think Kanye was talking about something else entirely. Super Discount Store on Paris Road in Chalmette.
Why wear the same old glasses that everyone else is wearing? Stand out from the crowd. Come to Art and Eyes. Art and Eyes is not your typical eyeglasses store. It's one of the finest eyewear shops in the country, right here in New Orleans, with precision-engineered prescription lenses and gorgeous high-quality frames from the heart of Europe, Japan, and the United States. Our products are thoughtfully curated, and our staff are here to help you find exactly the right frames. Art and Eyes, a magazine as unique as you.
Enjoy outdoor dining on the streetcar line, under the oak trees, Lebanon's Cafe, the finest in Middle Eastern cuisine, Carrollton at Jeanette, Lebanon's Cafe.
Custom window treatments can enhance the look and value of your home. At Helm Paint and Decorating, we're proud to offer custom plantation-style window shutters by Scandia. Perfect for any window, including large frames, French doors, sliding doors, and arches. American-made SL300 shutters are available in many colors to match your personal decor. We'll come out to measure, and you'll receive fast delivery. Plus, they're virtually maintenance-free.
Helm Paint and Benjamin Moore. Let us steer you in the right direction.
Helm Paint and Supply.
For game-changing innovation, look to the Latrim family of companies located in Harahan. Intralocks, a Latrim company, changed the game when they invented modular plastic conveyor belts over 40 years ago. These belts and innovative Intralocks technology are transforming movement in manufacturing facilities around the world. Intralocks is a dynamic global company now hiring in production, warehousing, shipping, and more. If you want to be part of our successful team, visit Latrim.com. That's LAITRAM.com.
River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. NoAC.com, your cool spot. River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. NoAC.com, your cool spot.
Ladies and gentlemen, in this Lamar Automotive Complex is something called Quick Lane. Tires, wheel alignments, struts, servicing your transmission. We're doing all makes and models. It doesn't have to have been purchased from us. It's for you. It handles your lifestyle with your budget in mind. And we want to get you in and out as quick as possible. Quick Lane, you got to come see it. You're going to love the experience. Right there at Williams Boulevard in Kenner.
Come to Fausto's Italian Bistro. Age-old Italian recipes like the calamari fritti or spaghetti and meatballs. Lunch Monday to Friday, dinner Monday to Saturday. 530 Vets, a block before Dorignax. Fausto's Italian Bistro.
Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSagency.com. Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSagency.com.
The Port of New Orleans is the gateway to global commerce, the economic engine that moves Louisiana and our country forward. For more than 125 years, Port Nola has continued to deliver the goods we use each and every day. By river, rail, and by road. No matter what, it all happens right here, delivering Louisiana's future at the Port of New Orleans, your working river. Learn more about your Port of New Orleans. Visit portnola.com. Chaz Roemer is with us this afternoon, son of former Governor Buddy Roemer. Hey, Chaz, you were talking about too many career politicians doing it for a living. Your dad had to laugh, man. I mean, John Alario just retired. His mentor is Edwin Edwards. I remember when your dad was governor, Alario on the House side, Sherman Copeland on the House side, Sammy Nunes at the Senate. I worked at the Senate. I went from sergeant in arms to like an assistant, aide for a senator. I watched all this. I watched Mike Foster sit in the back seat of the Senate, never say a word, and become governor one day. No, but I watched Alario and Sherman Copeland and Nunes and these guys just backstabbing, sabotaging everything your dad was trying to do to move the state forward, kind of at Edwin Edwards' direction from the sideline. Your dad ever talk about that? Did your dad ever laugh with you that, my God, John Alario's still in office in Louisiana?
Yeah, we talked about the differences. I was lucky. I got to spend a lot of time with my dad, especially in my he and I work together every day, and it's a real lesson every day. I was like going to class, and he wasn't doing a whole lot of work the last 10 years. He was in there wanting me to come in and talk business with him, but we'd end up talking about politics often. And he mentioned a big difference, and he wasn't making an excuse for himself, but he mentioned those same people. You had Bill Jefferson, you had 60 Rayburn, you had some guys that these were serious Louisiana politicians who were running that state Senate in particular. And when my dad was governor, and they were taking their orders from Edwin Edwards. And it was a very difficult time to be the governor. I mean, our state was bankrupt. We had $1 billion deficit, which doesn't sound like much now, but then we only had a $9 billion budget, and you had legislature. And you look now, and what's a shame now, and I'm not here to talk about our current governor, I'm here to talk about my dad, but we did talk about what if he were given the current legislature, where they can be led. They're not, most of them, or a lot of them, are new, and they're certainly not being told what to do by Edwin. The potential for our state to grow and make significant strides over the last 8 years have been lost. We haven't heard any bold new ideas. And it was a great deal of difference in the times.
No, you make a great point. I like John Bell Edwards. I think he's a nice guy. I think most folks, especially Democrats, very satisfied with what he did. A lot of Republicans voted for him because he was pro-guns and anti-abortion. But he's like Mike Foster, kind of. Nice guy. I remember Foster with the car plants. You don't have to leave the state to go get business. And the Alabama governor gave the Hyundai guy a phone. Anytime you just hit send, it dials me up. I don't care if it's 4 p.m. your time and 4 a.m. my time. Call me. In Alabama, around the time your dad was starting as governor, even after that, about a decade after that, really, late 90s, started proactively going after automotive plants. And Foster said you don't have to go anywhere. Yeah, there are no bold ideas coming out of Louisiana. There's nothing that's transformative. We continue to flounder, Chaz. I don't know how we're going to turn it around. New Orleans has the same problem.
Yeah, let me give you something that's completely. Let me compare two states, and you can understand a little bit of. And I'm not saying I don't want people to feel bad about Louisiana or being a Louisianian. I am from Louisiana, and I'm a Louisianian, and I love our state, and I think we can be awesome. And there's certain parts of what we do that already are awesome.
Yep.
But let's compare two states. If you take Florida, where 60% of the people are new, they've come there in the last 10 years. Okay.
Wow.
Versus Louisiana, which we have an out-migration. 95% of the people that live here have lived here their whole life.
Yep.
The problem with our state, and I shouldn't say it that way, but our challenge, I didn't say it that, the challenge with our state is every new idea is a threat, okay, because it changes something. And we need a leader who can articulate why these changes are important and how it's going to improve our lives. Compare that to Florida, where every idea comes from somewhere else.
Yep.
Somebody brought it from another state.
Yep.
There's no threats. They're wide open to new ideas and new ways of doing things.
No, that's how Louisiana used to be. It was outsiders coming in from the region, from around the country. I mean, some of the greatest New Orleanians we can think of, like Andrew Higgins. He's from Nebraska. He came here for opportunity. Now it's Houston, Dallas, Atlanta, Nashville, Austin, Charlotte. Those are the opportunity places. New Orleans is the old Las Vegas motto, Chaz. A great place to visit. Wouldn't want to live there. And that's coming from a native. You know.
I'll say it pained me to make your point even further. My daughter was in town. She goes to college in Dallas, and she came in town with some of her friends, and they wanted to go down to New Orleans for a good dinner and do some things, which is, New Orleans is awesome for that. But really was the first time that I'm really worried about her making that trip.
Isn't that sad?
I'm worried about her safety, and the fact that we don't have anybody, or the fact that those that are in charge don't seem outraged by it and don't seem willing to do anything different to change it is a real problem.
Well, you see the problem in the country, Chaz. It's, Reagan and Tip O'Neill used to go to dinner, and they ideologically totally disagreed. Nationally, if a Republican works with a Democrat or a Democrat with a Republican, you're a sellout. The other party's is evil. It's, and you can amplify that in Louisiana. Look at New Orleans. There's not a Republican or a conservative voice anywhere in government. And it's not just liberal. It's hyper woke, hyper progressive. Then you look at Louisiana. It's not just Republican or conservative. It's wacky right-wing evangelical extreme. I mean, we have these polarizing left, polarizing right in Louisiana. When you look at New Orleans and the rest of the state, it's like America on steroids down here. It's amazing we've survived this long with that polarizing, anti-other side type of mentality politically in this state.
What bothers me is our politicians play into it.
Yep.
We don't stand up and make a reasonable argument, articulate an appealing argument to people on why they might want to consider something different. That's where I think things separated my dad. It was his courage. The man, he was not afraid of losing an election. He was not afraid of losing a point. Okay, that didn't bother him. It was his courage and his willingness to talk about it and stand for it is what made him different.
Yep.
And he had a beautiful way. He was a great speech maker. We need leadership in this state. Someone that can stand up and lead our people. I think we have good folks here. We actually have folks that work very hard in this state, but they need good political leadership. And I don't know that we have that across the board.
No, we have, I always say the same exact thing. It's just a larger than normal percentage of jokers that vote in these same clowns, want to live vicariously through them. And you can talk to Louisiana folks who go, man, if Edwin Edwards was governor today, we wouldn't have a problem. If Mark Morial was mayor in New Orleans, we wouldn't have a problem. It kind of just, That kind of comments just kind of blow me away.
Well, you know what's crazy? Think about this. When my dad ran for governor in 1987,
yep.
You know, when Edwin had been in charge already for 15 years in our state, you could still accept cash. There were no limits on campaign contributions.
That's outrageous.
And you could give it in cash and make no reporting.
Wow.
It's the same. Now, we've come a long way from that in terms of campaign ethics, but in terms of, well, we can go back to the good old boys and do it the same old way we used to it. It was the good old times. That's not going to get us to where we're going to get. And I keep going back to the same thing. We have to be willing to make hard decisions, but we need leadership that can explain to people why it's important and how it's going to improve their life.
Hey, Chaz, what was the deal with your dad in 87? Was he down 20 points with a month to go in that election? Was that it?
I think he had about somewhere between 3 and 5% of the vote with about 40 days to go. And he ended up winning that election with, I think he had 33% of the vote on election night. And he would have gotten 70% of the vote had Edwin not dropped out. But yeah, he came from nowhere, you know, and that was it was an interesting time. He kept, you know, the one thing that separated him from the others was his, you know, he wouldn't take PAC money. Here's a politician in the United States who would not take PAC money.
Yep.
I mean, and that's what ended up winning him that election, when he stood separate from everybody else. You know, I look around now, look today. Why is the country in trouble, and yet the people in Washington, D.C. keep getting richer? You ever wondered that?
Oh, no. I know.
How come they keep building mansions while the rest of us are worried about how we're going to pay for our dinner?
No, it's
because the system's corrupt.
Yeah, the needs of the few outweigh the needs of the many. And
absolutely.
We allow it and keep voting these characters in. Hey, Chaz, can you hang around for one more quick segment, or do you have to run?
No, I'm glad to.
Good, man. Hang on one sec. Corey Johnson with you on a wide open Wednesday, having a chat with a guy I hope will run for governor next time, to be honest with you, against Jeff Landry, this upcoming race, because he's smart. He's just like his dad, knows the problems, actually comes up with solutions, runs from Louisiana politics, doesn't want to have anything to do with that. Literally is civic-minded, would be sacrificing his personal life to help move this state forward finally, like his dad wanted to do 35 years ago. Chaz Roemer's with us. Don't move.
Greater New Orleans, a destination for learning. With 13 colleges and universities and a booming job market, Greater New Orleans is the ultimate destination for your higher education. Your path to the future begins in Greater New Orleans. Find out more at studynola.com.
River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. NoAC.com, your cool spot. River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. NoAC.com, your cool spot.
The Port of New Orleans is the gateway to global commerce, the economic engine that moves Louisiana and our country forward. For more than 125 years, Port Nola has continued to deliver the goods we use each and every day, by river, rail, and by road. No matter what, it all happens right here, delivering Louisiana's future at the Port of New Orleans, your working river. Learn more about your Port of New Orleans. Visit portnola.com.
Which Metro New Orleans area restaurant made CNN's top 50 in America and ThrillList.com's top 25 and has served presidents at the White House for over 40 years? Trey Yen in Mandeville.
For game-changing innovation, look to the Latrim family of companies located in Harahan. Intralocks, a Latrim company, changed the game when they invented modular plastic conveyor belts over 40 years ago. These belts and innovative Intralocks technology are transforming movement in manufacturing facilities around the world. Intralocks is a dynamic global company now hiring in production, warehousing, shipping, and more. If you want to be part of our successful team, visit Latrim.com. That's LAITRAM.com.
For over 30 years, one of the premier security companies in New Orleans and South Louisiana has been Tommy's Lock and Alarms. And right now, Tommy's Lock and Alarms is hiring. Come and work for one of the best security companies in the region with great pay, great benefits, and a take-home vehicle. Tommy's Lock and Alarms is hiring, and they're looking for you. To apply for one of these coveted positions, go online to tommyslockandalarms.com. Tommy's Lock and Alarms.
Ford F-150, #1 seller in America. What about in the USA? Let's see, what about in the world? Who sells more trucks than Ford? Nobody. It's because the Lamarck team is the real team. All that makes it happen is one goal. Everybody having a great experience at Lamarck Ford. We became #1 for a reason, because we're good. And we need to prove it every day, every deal, all the time.
You have a painting project but can't decide on the perfect color? At Helm Paint and Decorating, we offer half-pint paint samples in any Benjamin Moore color for under $5, so you can test potential paint colors before investing in a full gallon.
Helm Paint and Benjamin Moore. Let us steer you in the right direction.
Rouse's Markets means convenience. Every one of our 65 locations opens at 7 a.m., some at 6:30, and they're open until 10 p.m., with some staying open till 11 or even midnight. Convenience. Rouse's Markets. Tastes like home.
The city's premier day spa experience is at the Woodhouse Day Spa with 4 area locations: New Orleans, Slidell, Baton Rouge, and Metairie. A day of relaxation is just moments away at the Woodhouse Day Spa. NOLA.woodhousespas.com.
If you love Katie's Restaurant in Mid-City, you're going to love Bienvenue in Harahan. The same folks bringing a little of that New Orleans flavor to Hickory Avenue. If you love Katie's, come to Bienvenue on Hickory Avenue in Harahan.
Recently, Kim Kardashian was seen at Super Discount Store in Chalmette.
Let's party.
Can you think of any other celebrities that won't sue us? Super Discount Store in Chalmette. The lowest prices allowed by Louisiana law on wine, alcohol, and cold beer. 3235 Paris Road.
Corey Johnson with you on a wide open Wednesday edition of the program. Chaz Roemer, kind enough to stick with us the entire hour, joining us. Hey, Chaz, New Orleans and Louisiana, it's like we score 36 on the ACT and 1,600 on the SAT, and we keep getting C- and Ds on the old report card, even some Fs. How do we make straight A's? How do we follow your dad to Harvard? How do we do that kind of thing? How do we get Louisiana at least in the direction of where it's supposed to be going? Because we continue down the wrong path to this day.
Yeah, I think we've, it's interesting. I'm listening to your show and hear your commercial about the port of New Orleans. We've got to decide what we're going to be as a state. And I don't think we know that right now. We have, again, too many politicians who are happy getting a paycheck and not enough good ideas. Our ports are a perfect example. We ought to be the shipping center of the Western Hemisphere leading to the Southern America and South America. But we don't invest in our ports as properly as we should. That's one idea. Yep. We don't invest in our energy. We've got to make a commitment. Now, I know everybody talks about, we got to have windmills and we got to have solar farms. Well, let me tell you the problem with a windmill and solar farm. You cannot produce enough energy out of windmills and solar farms to power the world. Cannot be done. It's not even close. And yet we stand still and don't invest any more in new technology that can use our existing energy base, which is our own resources found right here in Louisiana, and help clean them up so our energy can be the energy of the future. We don't invest in our future. We only worry about the next hour versus the next decade. We've got to start making investments. I look at LSU, who should be our flagship university, and certainly there's some great folks over there. But, we announced our Sputnik moment as a university about a year ago. And our Sputnik moment was to raise $20 million. Harvard raises $2 billion. So we have to have people who are willing to set the bar high. We have a system now in Louisiana where we grade our schools. Well, 70% of our schools are getting A's and B's on our report card. Do you think 70% of the schools in this state are an A or B school? We're not willing to be honest with ourselves. We're not willing to be transparent as a government and tell people what they really need and what they really lack in this state. So we got to have leadership who says, it's not okay that tomorrow will look just like today. We need to prepare for the future. You got to invest in education. And the best way to do that, by the way, the best way to invest in education is to give the power to the parents. Give them the choices to go to the schools that they wish to go to and quit funding a bureaucracy that doesn't work. I was chairman of our state board of education for 8 years. And I think we did some fabulous things. But let me tell you something. If you think our education issues are going to be solved in the Department of Education building in this state, you are wrong. They'll never be solved by the State Department of Education. Never. So, I look at government, and let me tell you that part of the problem with career politicians is, one, they end up liking the lifestyle. The idea of walking on marble floors and somebody opens the door for you. There's no heavy lifting. There's air conditioning. People call you sir or ma'am. They think you're real important. They make you feel real important. So you get used to a lifestyle. So you don't want to risk that lifestyle, do you? It's a great thing. Everybody salutes me when they see me. That's what the politicians think. That's a problem. Okay, that is a problem in our state. And the second thing that becomes a problem when you're a career politician, and it is one of the reasons I stepped out of office, is I wanted to be a real person and go make a real living. The second problem with being a career politician is you actually begin to believe that the government has the solutions. The government doesn't have the solutions. If they had them, we would know by now. You think if Schumer and Pelosi had the answer, we would know it by now? I think we would know it by now. That's the problem with career politicians. They live up there so long, they serve only themselves because they want to get reelected. And they start to get so naive that they believe the answer to our problems is more government. Let me tell you the quickest way to get the answers of our problems. Get the government out of our way. Get them out of our education. Get them out of our business. Get them out of our pocketbook. Get them out of my bedroom. Get them out of telling me what to do. Get government out of the way.
Chaz, Louisiana folks listening to this, watching this, they're fired up. They want you to run for governor. Are you even considering it?
No, you're really unfair to me, by the way. I mean, when you asked me to be on this show, you told me we were going to talk about my dad, and you haven't spent much time doing that. Look, I don't know. Look, I got a good life, and I love my kids. I did postpone. One of the reasons I ran for Bessie when I served was education was one of the issues that I felt passionate about. And Bessie gave me a way, and that's the Board of Elementary and Secondary Education for people that may not know. It gave me a way to serve without becoming a full-time politician, without sacrificing my whole family.
Yep.
But I didn't want to do it forever. Like I said, I did it for 8 years, and I was starting to have to review my own policies. And I said, you know what? Let somebody else review those policies. Now I'm at a different stage in my life now. Both my kids are off in college. My business is going well. I'm excited about the things we're doing in business. But I'm not going to lie to you and tell you I don't ever think about it. I think about it. I just don't spend every moment of my day coming up with a strategy to be elected to governor or the Senate or the Congress or anything else you can think of. Here's what I know. In this state, here's what I believe. If you want to be governor of this state, if you want to be elected next year, you don't need to announce that you're running today. You don't need to do that. What you need is the willingness to give people good ideas. If you come to the table with good ideas, you can wait till next year to announce you're running.
You're right. Chaz, an absolute pleasure, man. Loved your dad. Honestly, man. I think about him a lot. Great man. I'm glad he had influence on me, too.
I appreciate it very much. Enjoyed being on the show. Good luck to you and to your show, and I enjoy listening.
Thanks, Chaz. That's Chaz Roemer joining us on the program. Corey Johnson with you. 5 o'clock power hour next. 107.9 FM, 93.9 FM, New Orleans. Don't move.
River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. NoAC.com, your cool spot. River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. NoAC.com, your cool spot.
Where can you find shish kebab in New Orleans? Lamb, beef, chicken, shrimp, plus all your other Mediterranean favorites. Lebanon's Cafe on the streetcar line. Lunch, dinner, and shish kebab. Lebanon's Cafe.
For home surveillance, it's Tommy's Lock and Alarm. With smart home technology, control lights, locks, cameras, thermostat, and your alarm, all from your phone or laptop. Smart, safe, secure. Tommy's Lock and Alarms. Google them.
For game-changing innovation, look to the Latrim family of companies located in Harahan. Intralox, a Latrim company, changed the game when they invented modular plastic conveyor belts over 40 years ago. These belts and innovative Intralox technology are transforming movement in manufacturing facilities around the world. Intralox is a dynamic global company now hiring in production, warehousing, shipping, and more. If you want to be part of our successful team, visit Latrim.com. That's LAITRAM.com.
Greater New Orleans, a destination for learning. With 13 colleges and universities and a booming job market, Greater New Orleans is the ultimate destination for your higher education. Your path to the future begins in Greater New Orleans. Find out more at studynola.com.
When you think of Fury's Restaurant in Metairie, you think about their daily lunch specials like red beans and rice, black-eyed peas, white butter beans, liver and onions. Daily lunch specials. Fury's Restaurant in Metairie.
Why wear the same old glasses that everyone else is wearing? Stand out from the crowd. Come to Art and Eyes. Art and Eyes is not your typical eyeglasses store. It's one of the finest eyewear shops in the country, right here in New Orleans, with precision-engineered prescription lenses and gorgeous high-quality frames from the heart of Europe, Japan, and the United States. Our products are thoughtfully curated, and our staff are here to help you find exactly the right frames. Art and Eyes, a magazine as unique as you.
Hi, this is Joey Helm. My dad, Bunky Helm, had a vision of a locally family-owned store serving the residential and commercial paint needs of New Orleans. I think Dad would be proud of today's Helm Paint and Decorating, and here's why. We have the best technical staff in the business, providing the best color matching service in Southeast Louisiana. Perfect matching for any color and any brand. And we'll save your colors so you don't have to save those old cans. Helm Paint offers free 2-hour delivery. Our in-store decorators will assist you on deciding what color and type of paint to best showcase your home. But most importantly, as your local independent Benjamin Moore dealer, our products provide the greatest value in the paint industry. Superior coverage, and Benjamin Moore paint simply covers better and lasts longer. New Orleans is a city of vibrant color, and no one else provides the paints of New Orleans like Helm Paint and Decorating. Visit any of our 6 locations or online at helmpaint.com.
Helm Paint, let us steer you right. Helm Paint and Supply.
The Woodhouse Day Spa, the premier day spa experience, is now more convenient than ever. Now open, the Woodhouse Day Spa, Metairie location, West Esplanade at Transcontinental. Metairie and Kenner's premier day spa experience is at the Woodhouse Day Spa.
Super discount store in Chalmette.
3235 Paris Road.
The lowest price allowed by Louisiana law on wine, alcohol, and beer.
Worth the drive from anywhere.
If you're throwing a party and need wine, alcohol, and cold beer, super discount store in Chalmette.
Scott Craig of Katie's Restaurant.
All of my ingredients are fresh. Nothing comes out of a can here. Nothing. All of our seafood is Louisiana. All of our vegetables are Louisiana vegetables. It's a neighborhood restaurant.
Katie's in Mid-City.
The Port of New Orleans is the gateway to global commerce, the economic engine that moves Louisiana and our country forward. For more than 125 years, Port Nola has continued to deliver the goods we use each and every day, by river, rail, and by road. No matter what, it all happens right here, delivering Louisiana's future at the Port of New Orleans, your working river. Learn more about your Port of New Orleans Visit portnola.com.
Rouse's, New Orleans grocery store. Rouse's has the only full-service grocery stores both in the French Quarter on Royal Street and in the CBD on Baronne in the old Sewell Cadillac building. The Rouse's on the river, Tchoupitoulas at Napoleon, is in a century-old warehouse. And uptown on Ferret at the corner of Valence is Rouse's all-new boutique store. With 7 locations in Orleans Parish, Rouse's is New Orleans grocery store. Rouse's Markets. Taste like home.
Thought it was Johnny Quest for a second. And then I was like, it's the $6 Million Man. Nope, it's MTV. Maybe we should throw out our little trivia question. Name 3 of 4 original VJs. I'll do it. I'll toss it out there. I got 50 big bucks at the Woodhouse Day Spa for you. Name 3 of the 4 original video jocks, VJs at MTV. When it got cranking up, 50 years ago? Something like that. Well, no, I guess 40 years ago. I guess that'd be right. Yeah, 81, 82, 40 years ago, MTV. Video Stole the Radio Star, I think, was the first video they ever played. Anyway, I remember being a kid and Metairie had cable and Orleans Parish did not. Used to tick me off. I go to my buddies' houses in Metairie, they'd have cable. New Orleans had like MTV, like movie television. You had this antenna with a microwave thing that went to like one shell square where they just played, it's one channel. It played movies. I remember going to the Mississippi Gulf Coast, visiting a buddy when I was a kid, going over to that family house, and they had HBO back in the mid-70s. Home box office, where you paid for that service like in the mid-70s. Anyway, MTV 40 years ago. My buddies in Metairie, the cable box had say stations 1 through 20 on the top. You'd click the button to go to the top, and then you'd push that same button down to say go to stations 21 through 40. So there are 20 buttons. You could click them up or down. Up would be stations 1 through 20. Down would be stations 21 through 40. Then they had a dial on the side. You could click it from like A, B to C, so it would give you a whole nother group of stations. My buddies in Metairie, I don't know how they figured this out. They'd stick a toothpick kind of holding down 2 buttons at one time, and you'd get porn. You'd get Playboy Channel on the old, whatever. I don't know what channel it was. It was pornography, though, on cable. If you could hold down 2 buttons at the same time and rig it with a toothpick. The 80s. Corey Johnson with you. 5 o'clock power hour. Yeah, you right. A lot to discuss today. Last hour I really enjoyed. The last hour was about what Louisiana could be, how we could be winners, how we could be competing with Texas and Florida and Georgia and North Carolina, not settling thinking, oh, no, we're clumped in with, no offense, Mississippi, Alabama, West Virginia, Kentucky, that kind of thing. I wish we were lumped in with them. We're behind them. We're the least productive state, like with assets, resources, what we got going for us in the South. Mississippi, with not even half the natural resources we have. They don't have oil and gas. They don't have the major seafood industry like we have. They're creating a port in Gulfport to compete with us. No, they put more of an effort. They're more focused and organized than us. We're kind of the embarrassment, the laughing stock of the South and the country. People think Louisiana is backwards ass, and they should. We are in so many ways. And I'm just like Chaz Roemer. I mean, I love Louisiana. I'm still here. You don't think I love it? I love it. I love the people. I love the culture, the history, the architecture. I love it all. I'm just disappointed we're a, 1,600 SAT score state and city. We're a 36 ACT score and state. We're straight A's, but we get D's and F's. We fail. Chaz Roemer is like hope. You listen to that, and it's legitimate hope. And it's not fooling yourself. It's not living in denial. He mentioned these career politicians. Too many career politicians making a living off of it, like John Alario. You're going to get nothing good for you out of a John Alario. 45, 50 years in politics. His mentor is Edwin Edwards. Hi, my mentor is a pile of poop. My mentor is garbage. My mentor is crap. My mentor is a man with no ethics, morals, or integrity. No self-pride. Pretty much a zero, a loser. That's my political mentor. Well, what are you going to get out of John Alario, the big goose egg, taking care of his friends and family? One son's a riverboat pilot making $500,000-$600,000 a year, and the riverboat pilots hate him because he never pilots a ship. And when he does, he rams it into the dock and causes $1 million in damage. You think I'm making this up? The other son is bounced from state commission to state commission. At least 4 different commissions, all totally different. He knows nothing about anything being on these commissions. One commission he used commission money to pay a gambling debt with. It's just, no, John Alario's garbage. He's just not a good man. There's no ethics, morals, or integrity there. It's all about himself and setting up his friends and family. Heitmeyer's same thing. Rattle off the list. Bill Jefferson, 60 Rayburn. I remember 60 Rayburn in the Senate. What a nightmare. Just an old coot sitting up there decade in, decade out doing nothing. Nothing. A ridiculously powerful politician. No, politics in Louisiana are a joke. It's the priority. You know, most cities and states, the business community leads. That's the chef. That's the food. That's the menu. You know what the politicians are? The maitre d', the guy that parks the car, the person that opens the door to let you in the restaurant. We got it backwards. The politicians lead instead of the business community. No, if you care about New Orleans or Louisiana, you should listen to the 4 o'clock hour and Chaz Roemer, Buddy Roemer's son, a chip off the old block, smart like his old man, knows the problem, knows our state, can move us forward. We actually could maybe compete against Texas as a state and Austin as a city, compete against North Carolina as a state, Charlotte as a city, living up to our potential for once. I mean, my entire adult life, just the bottom falling out. Well, Jeff Landry or Chaz Roemer? I mean, seriously. You might as well go dig up J.D. North and make him head coach of the Saints. Get the former astronaut to be GM of the Saints. Let's go back to the late 60s and 70s. See how that worked out. That's Jeff Landry. Chaz Roemer, he's Sean Payton, he's Belichick, he's Brady, he's Breeze. You want to go with the losers? Go with Jeff Landry. You want to go with the winners? Push people you know, send emails, get on Twitter to Chaz Roemer, beg him to run for governor. It's like our only chance, our only hope, or we will continue to flounder. Yeah, and it was Chaz's dad who told me, Corey, as long as Carnival goes on in New Orleans, all is good. Because I was busting on New Orleans with him. And he loves Louisiana and loves New Orleans. No, I expanded on it and took it as my own. You know, as long as hunting and fishing season, 3 for 1 at the bar, and Mardi Gras is a go, all is good in New Orleans and Louisiana. And that's a problem. We are excellent at the Friday 5 p.m. to Monday 9 a.m., the weekend, the party, the festivals, Mardi Gras, Jazz Fest. We're the best at it. World leaders, food, drink, music. We're champions at the leisure, the entertainment stuff, champs. We are the opposite, the Monday through Friday 9 to 5 stuff. We suck at that. We're an embarrassment. We're a joke. We're terrible. And there's no pride where we don't care. No, we keep electing these John Alario jokers for some dopey reason. Black versus white versus black, Republican versus Democrat, Democrat versus Republican. Just a loser mentality, all this infighting. Our competition loves it. They love it. They love that New Orleans has been on a downward spiral for 50 years. They love that Louisiana is not a competitor. They love it. Don't have to worry about us. We're a joke outside of New Orleans and Louisiana when it comes to business and competition to Texas and the rest of the South. A non-entity, a joke. Minor leagues, not a player. Do they even know the sport or where the ballpark's be and where the ballpark is? That's what other states think about us. Chaz Roemer was refreshing to hear, great to hear, a winning attitude, just like his old man, throwing out the problems and giving you solutions. You really need to check out that 4 o'clock hour. You can do it on YouTube, Anchor, iTunes, Spotify, after the fact. Are we going to get some rain today? I think down in the river parishes, Cajun country over there, home of Thibodeau getting a little sprinkle down the 308 LA1 area, but, south of 90 or on 90. Hopefully it beelines in our direction. Hey, Young's Dry Cleaning's been at it since 1940. That's crazy. 80 plus years, Young's Dry Cleaning continuously operating straight through Katrina, too. They truly are a New Orleans institution. You want to experience the best dry cleaner in the city? It's easy. Young'sDryCleaning.com. Young'sDryCleaning.com.
Ford F-150, #1 seller in America. What about in the USA? Let's see. What about in the world? Who sells more trucks than Ford? Nobody. It's because the Lamar team is the real team. All that makes it happen is one goal. Everybody having a great experience at Lamar Ford. We became #1 for a reason, because we're good. And we need to prove it every day, every deal, all the time.
Trey Yen in Mandeville, a New Orleans tradition for over 40 years, serving the finest Louisiana-inspired Chinese cuisine. Open Tuesday through Sunday. Trey Yen.
Custom window treatments can enhance the look and value of your home. At Helm Paint and Decorating, we're proud to offer custom plantation-style window shutters by Scandia. Perfect for any window, including large frames, French doors, sliding doors, and arches. American-made SL300 shutters are available in many colors to match your personal decor. We'll come out to measure, and you'll receive fast delivery. Plus, they're virtually maintenance-free.
Helm Paint and Benjamin Moore. Let us steer you in the right direction.
Helm Paint and Supply.
Rouse's Market is hiring. With 65 stores, full or part-time employment, and flexible scheduling, Rouse's has a job for you, or maybe even a career. Apply at any Rouse's store or online at rouses.com.
River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. NoAC.com, your cool spot. River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. NoAC.com, your cool spot.
The Port of New Orleans is the gateway to global commerce, the economic engine that moves Louisiana and our country forward. For more than 125 years, Port Nola has continued to deliver the goods we use each and every day, by river, rail, and by road. No matter what, it all happens right here, delivering Louisiana's future at the Port of New Orleans, your working river. Learn more about your Port of New Orleans. Visit portnola.com.
For game-changing innovation, look to the Latrim family of companies located in Harahan. Intralox, a Latrim company, changed the game when they invented modular plastic conveyor belts over 40 years ago. These belts and innovative Intralox technology are transforming movement in manufacturing facilities around the world. Intralox is a dynamic global company now hiring in production, warehousing, shipping, and more. If you want to be part of our successful team, visit Latrim.com. That's LAITRAM.com.
Young's Dry Cleaning, with 2 walk-up locations with personal service. Young's on Claiborne and Young's on Harrison Avenue in Lakeview. Young's Dry Cleaning. Call 288-8381 or online at youngsdrycleaning.com.
Super discount store in Chalmette.
3235 Paris Road.
The lowest price allowed by Louisiana law on wine, alcohol, and beer.
Worth the drive from anywhere.
If you're throwing a party and need wine, alcohol, and cold beer, super discount store in Chalmette.
Come to Fausto's Italian Bistro. Age-old Italian recipes like the calamari fritti or spaghetti and meatballs. Lunch Monday to Friday, dinner Monday to Saturday. 530 Vets a block before Dorignax. Fausto's Italian Bistro.
For over 30 years, one of the premier security companies in New Orleans and South Louisiana has been Tommy's Lock and Alarms. And right now, Tommy's Lock and Alarms is hiring. Come and work for one of the best security companies in the region with great pay, great benefits, and a take-home vehicle. Tommy's Lock and Alarms is hiring, and they're looking for you. To apply for one of these coveted positions, go online to tommyslockанdalarms.com. Tommy's Lock and Alarms.
Yeah, you right. Corey Johnson back at you. Hey, I got 50 big bucks at the Woodhouse. Hey, you give me 2 out of the 4 original MTV video jocks, VJs. 2 out of the 4. We started the 5 o'clock hour. I thought it was Johnny Quest for a second. Then I thought it was the $6 Million Man. It was the MTV theme, the original one, with the space shuttle and the man on the moon and the flag, the colorful flag. Name 2 of the 4 original VJs, disc jockeys. There was a brunette, there was a blonde, there was a white dude with curly black hair who arguably had more of a fro than the black dude with the fro. Some of these VJs do satellite radio shows to this day. They're like disc jockeys on satellite, I guess, playing, classic stuff from 30, 40 years ago. MTV, a little over 40 years old. Name 2 of the 4 original video jocks, and I'll give you a $50 Woodhouse Day Spa gift certificate. Good at one of the 4 area Woodhouse locations: Mid-City, New Orleans, Metairie near North Kenner, North Shore, I-10 at Gauze and Slidell, and Baton Rouge by the Mall of Louisiana. Coming online soon, like in the next month or so, the Woodhouse Day Spa's Mandeville location, a 5th Woodhouse Day Spa. Your gift certificate will be good there in a few months. Name 2 of the 4 original MTV VJs, video jocks. Name 2 of the 4. I got a $50 Woodhouse Day Spa gift certificate for you. Rouse's Markets phone lines, 504-766-9480. 504-766-9480. No cheating, no intranet device, no Bing, DuckDuckGo, Yahoo, Google, none of that. You either know the answer or you don't. Yeah, that MTV brought me back to my high school days, the 80s. Yeah, Metairie, Jefferson Parish buddies, they had cable. There was cable TV. New Orleans Parish didn't have it yet. Lagging behind Jefferson. I remember all the De La Salle kids. I was like 9th or 10th grade. Fast Times at Ridgemont High. Fast Times at Ridgemont High. That was the talk of De La Salle. I was just like, yeah, I live out by UNO and Gentilly Lakefront area. We don't have cable out there. I have no idea what this Fast Times at Ridgemont High thing is. I remember that distinctly. Folks talking about that for a few days, few weeks at De La Salle. Thought it was so funny. I think that's when one of my guys had the jacked up Trans Am on Leontine, cranking up Tom Sawyer, Rush, brah, mean stride. They had one cat had a Trans Am, literally, I'm not kidding you. I'm not making this up. First off, he removed the gas tank out of the car because he thought it was too heavy. And in the trunk had one of those orange boat gas tanks. So he only could hold about 6 gallons of gas at a time. And back then that car probably got, 10 miles per gallon. So he was getting gas all the time. So he removes the gas tank. And then the second feature, I'm not making this up, the squirter for the windshield, he disconnected it from the windshield, ran a line to the rear tire and filled that thing with bleach. So he'd hit the squirter and it would shellac the tire with bleach. Then he'd punch it, spin the tire on the pavement, and the cloud that the bleach would make, this white cloud, was enormous. My days at De La Salle High School in Uptown. Yeah, you're right. Hey, Rouse's Markets phone lines, 504-766-9480. Let's hit those phone lines. 766-9480. He's on the river. Joe joins us on the program. What's up, Joe?
Man, what's up, Corey? Man, been a long time. I used to call your show back in the day when I was working right across from the Riverwalk on the river, that fleet. I used to go about whipping out Joe back then, but I couldn't, when everything changed, I couldn't say that no more.
Well, now, where are you now, Joe, on the river? Where are you now?
I'm a pilot. I'm down in Bell Chase now. I'm still working on the river. It's a living.
Now, what do you mean you're a pilot? What kind of, not a riverboat pilot, huh?
Yeah. I'll be tripping sometimes, driving up and down the river, moving barges.
Now, are you running like a tugboat, or you're piloting a major ship?
Yeah. Oh no. That's something different with the ship. We on the tugboat.
Gotcha. You're making a regular salary. You're earning your money. You're not making $500,000 doing nothing.
Oh yeah.
You'd like to be a riverboat pilot, huh? You'd work half as much and make 5 times what you make.
Oh yeah. They make good money, especially out there in Tampa on the $1 Million Mile. Oh man, there's a mile long little stretch out there in Tampa. $1 million.
Forget about Tampa, Joe. Forget about Tampa. The federal government has riverboat pilots that pilot ships on the river. They make $180,000 a year. Then you got these 3 different riverboat pilot groups in Louisiana. 110% political BS. These cats make $600,000 a year standing behind the ship pilot, telling him how to go up the river. And these guys will tell you they think they're F-16 fighter pilots. They think the river is treacherous as can be. Not anyone can learn to do it. You have to be Superman or an astronaut to do it. And if they weren't piloting ships, Joe, they'd pilot the space shuttle. That's what they want you to believe. These guys are so full of you know what. I respect what you do, Joe. I'm not dogging it. I'm not saying you don't have a real job. Not at all. I'm saying you do have a real job and you do it. And these jokers that make 4 or 5 times what you make, these so-called riverboat pilots, they're a bunch of hacks. It's all Louisiana politics at its worst. But, not a lot of pride and self-respect. So they take the money and run and just go, hey, I'm making the money. My friends and family love it. I go to sleep at night knowing what Corey's saying is right, and I don't care. So, to each his own.
You're right.
I'm right.
You're right. But I think one of the DJs' name was Nina Blackwood.
Nice.
And I think one was J.J. Jackson, I believe.
You are correct.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, J.J. Jackson, I think.
What do we have for Johnny?
You remember any of the others?
I remember somebody named Mark Quinn, something.
Yeah. No, I think he was like a later one, actually. Was he original? Martha Quinn. Martha Quinn. Something. And then Mark Goodman, or what was the other one? Who was the white dude with the curly black hair? So you had J.J. Jackson, the black guy. You had Nina Blackwood, who was
I see the black guy's face. I see the black guy's face right now in my mind.
That's
I remember he did the interview with Kiss back in the day when they first came on TV without the makeup. I remember that.
Yep. And that thing is Mark Goodman, maybe, or something.
I don't know his name.
Yep. Excellent, Joe. You are correct.
All right.
Got $50 big bucks at the Woodhouse for you. Who's getting that? The wife?
You know it.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, exactly. You don't want to go to the doghouse.
Nah, they can't be in the doghouse.
Hey, Joe, I'm glad you found me. Spread the word, all right?
Yeah, man. But I remember we used to kick it back in the day, boy. I used to love calling your show.
Yeah, you're right.
Thanks.
Yeah, you're right.
Remember, hey, tell me, I'm about to say something right now. You gonna remember me when I say this. You remember Lucky to Bucky?
Lucky to Bucky. I don't.
Remember we had the Bucky Jones on the team?
Oh, yeah.
And you say, no, it ain't. It's unlucky to Bucky.
Oh, wow. Nice. Hey, Joe, hang on. Don't go anywhere, all right?
Okay, man. Nice talking to you.
Good talking to you, too. I'm glad you found me again. That's Joe on the river, literally, piloting a tug. Yeah, you're right, Joe. Jason, a.k.a. the Raging Cajun, a.k.a. the Man in Black. It's going to get a little info from you, Joe, and tighten you up with that $50 Woodhouse Day Spa gift certificate. Helm Paint and Decorating. This is painting weather. My goodness. Hard to do much better than the weather we've had the last few weeks. When you got to paint in Metro New Orleans, Helm Paint and Decorating, 7 locations, East Bank, West Bank, North Shore, free 2-hour delivery. Go online, Benjamin Moore, pick out your colors, call up Helm Paint and Decorate, and they'll take care of you. When you got to paint in Metro New Orleans, do it once, do it right. Helm Paint and Decorating for over 50 years. That goes in the no-brainer category. Boy, a lot going on. Last hour, Chaz Roemer joined us. I would love this guy to run for governor. Exactly what Louisiana needs. We'd actually have a fighting chance. Such a difference, this guy as a politician, than these jokers we vote for, man. So many just clowns that run for office. Hey, TV audience, see you tomorrow. It's straight down 5:30. If you're listening on radio, checking us out on YouTube, live streaming CoreyTalks.com. We seamlessly continue until 6 p.m. Television, 4 to 5:30 weekdays, Cox Channel 4, Spectrum Channel 333, all over Louisiana. The mayor, Latoya the Destroyer Cantrell, she's just fantastic for the recall. She can't help herself. It is impossible for her to restrain herself. And the more someone like me mentions it, the worse she gets. She'll hear me saying she can't restrain herself. If she'd shut up, maybe the recall would go away. She keeps the recall alive by just talking interactions. She can't stop talking. She can't stop going on junkets, like last weekend, flying first class to Amsterdam. It is a self-fulfilling prophecy. The more I speak, the more belligerent she gets. We control the mayor. It's phenomenal. The mayor's like the jerk on the road that goes slow when you're trying to, pass them, and then they speed up when you try to pass. It's like you're controlling their driving. It's like, don't worry about me, I don't worry about anyone around me. I get out of people's way. I move over to the right and I pass on the left. Mostly passing, but when someone's barreling up my rear end, I get over to the right. I'm controlling myself, my drive. No one's dictating how I drive. We dictate the mayor instead of just shutting up and being quiet. She just, and I can say this. I know some of you going, Corey, don't say it. She might listen. Nope, impossible. She is belligerent down to the core and just does not care. That's been proven, and nothing's going to change. Nothing's going to change. 25% of the time in the books for the recall, over 25% of signatures have been gathered by the recall, folks. So they're ahead of pacing. I guess maybe when 90% of the time's done and 90% of the signatures are had, 45,000 signatures approaching 50 and getting that recall on the books, the mayor maybe will be quiet, not go on junkets. By that time, it'll be too late. No, it's a self-fulfilling prophecy. I've mentioned social media in 2022, a big plus for this recall effort. A little more technical, used to need a third of the vote, signatures to get a recall. Now it's 20% for a city the size of New Orleans in Louisiana. That's another plus. But the big one, the mayor herself cannot keep her yap shut. Talking just a bunch of blah, blah, blah nonsense and then walking the walk. First class plane fare to, Amsterdam and the like. Can't help herself. No, it's a beautiful thing. It really is. The mayor's press release. The recall is a Republican-backed effort with true Trump mega donors contributing more than half of the effort's money. One of those Trump mega donors is a mega donor to you. I mean, I said it last hour. Susan Spicer, that chef, and Bayona, that restaurant, they're absolutely terrible. Susan Spicer's evil. By the way, I've got an 8 p.m. reservation tonight. Can't wait. That shrimp with the coriander and black bean cake is the best appetizer in town. That lamb loin with the goat cheese, incredible. But Susan Spicer is evil, and Bayona is a terrible restaurant. I'll be there at 8 p.m. tonight. I love Bayona and Susan Spicer, by the way. No, the recall effort is a Republican-backed effort with two Trump mega donors contributing more than half of the effort's money. By the way, one of those Trump mega donors was a mega me donor. Boise Bollinger contributed $5,000 in 2017 when I was running for mayor the first time. He then again gave the maximum allowable, $5,000 again in 2021 when I was running for a second term. He also donated $25,000 to my number one PAC, a PAC I control, $25,000, $35,000 in all. He's only contributed, I think, $20,000 or $25,000 to the recall. So less money to the recall effort than he gave you to run for mayor. How crazy is LaToya Cantrell? The recall is a Republican-blocked effort. A guy that backed me tremendously is behind this recall. I love how, Republicans have made liberal and progressive and Democrat like a bad word. And in New Orleans, Republican and conservative is a bad word. It's all just funny to me. It really is. It's comical. Politics at its worst. The recall is a Republican-backed effort. Like, it's such code for white people. You black people in New Orleans don't get fooled by these white people, these racists. They don't even live here. They're against black and progress. That's what the mayor's saying. It's always race and just pathetic. You know, when facts are on your side, you argue the facts. When the law is on your side, you argue the law. When neither is on your side, you pound the table. The mayor is the pound the table queen. It's all she does. Recall effort is Republican-backed effort. What's that mean? We know what it means. It's code for white and racist. With 2 Trump mega donors contributing more than half of the effort's money. Boise Bollinger is one of the mega donors you're criticizing. He gave you $35,000 to run for mayor not once but twice. Absolutely illogical, insane, es loco, crazy. Is mayor loco or loca? It's got to just be loco, huh? There's no loca, huh? Anyway, yeah, it's like there's no Latin X. The dumbest, stupidest, woke, liberal garbage ever. Latin X. Just gets dumber and dumber. Latin X. You got to be so just, I don't know what, beyond liberal, woke, progressive, socialist to come up with Latin X. You know, because Latino isn't fair. Latino is a male person of Latin descent, and Latina is a female. You're right. But Latino is male and female. The Latin America, Latinos are coming across the border. That's male, female, old, young, kids. You don't say niña, niños. Just Latinos, folks of Latin American descent. That's the big, pronoun or noun, proper noun, Latino. Latinos, Latinas, that's when you're getting into specific male and female. We don't need Latin X because Latino is male. That's so gringo X. Latin X. I digress. I regress. Boy, you got to check out the 4 o'clock hour. I thought it was fantastic. Chaz Roemer joined us, Buddy Roemer's son. You can check it out on YouTube, Anchor, iTunes, Spotify. I hope this guy runs for governor. Sounds like he's thinking about it, maybe considering it. I certainly hope so, because we need revolutionary type change. I mean, aren't you sick and tired of New Orleans and Louisiana floundering? It's not about you. Your life could be great. I have a pretty damn good life. I'm successful in what I do. I've been doing it for 30 years. I'm blessed, truly. I make decent money. I'm not rich, but I do fine. I'm not poor either. I'm lucky. I'm fortunate. But that's not the point. It's like the LSU. Let's improve the education. My kid went to LSU. He's doing just fine. That's so defeatist. Let's strive for excellence. Let's shoot for 110% because we'll never get to 100%. But if your goal's 50%, geez, I don't know what the goals are in Louisiana. Aren't you tired of just New Orleans losing to other cities, Louisiana losing to other states? You're tired when the Saints and LSU lose, but the important thing, not the entertainment, not the luxury item, but real life. You're not tired of getting beat down like that? I don't get it. You got to look beyond yourself and your life, how you're doing. I mean, if I did that, I'm fine. New Orleans and Louisiana must be fine because I'm doing fine. There is no crime problem. There's no infrastructure problem, no education problem. We've got a great economy. Folks are moving here like crazy. Everything must be fine because I'm doing fine. LSU must be a good school because I went there and got a degree and I'm doing fine. That's just such a bad defeatist attitude. I love New Orleans. I love Louisiana. So much so that I'm hypercritical of it because there's so much blatant, overt failure that's glaring right in front of us, and we ignore it every day because you're doing just fine. At the very least, think about the people that set it up for us half a century ago and beyond. We've dropped the ball. We've not lived up to the responsibility as New Orleanians and Louisiana folks to carry what was given to us from the past. We're living off of that. We've done a terrible job the last 30, 40 years, competing against the rest of the country, the region, other states, cities. Terrible. Aren't you frustrated? Time for change. Listen to Chaz Roemer. That guy fires me up. That guy's a winner. That guy tells us the problems and the solutions. He's the diametric opposite of a zero like John Alario. And Edwin Edwards, boy, what a nice honor. That's my mentor, the criminal, Edwin Edwards. Think about that zero. Life is totally fair. Edwin Edwards, the scumbag piece of garbage, 4-term governor of Louisiana. His retirement years, his golden years when he could travel and spend his money, got the young wife, go travel around. He goes to jail for a decade in a friggin' cage for a decade. For a decade. It didn't break him because that's his mentality to begin with, like a criminal. Jail was like, man, I was expecting this. No, life is very fair. Edwin Edwards put in a lifetime of corruption and scamming and scheming and being a deviant. And in the prime of his life, when he's supposed to exhale and just chill out with his young bride and travel and enjoy things in life when he physically and mentally still could, those prime years were stolen, taken away. Actually, it's justice. And he went to jail for a decade. Perfect ending. That's when I was like, man, life is totally fair. Scumbag like Edwin Edwards in his golden years is in a cage. I don't even put my dogs in a cage, in a kennel. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with it, but that's where Edwin Edwards was. Wearing a little zip suit, wiping down windows with newspaper, drinking Kool-Aid and eating, peanut butter and jelly sandwiches, bologna sandwiches. Perfect. It's perfect. No, Chaz Roemer was incredible. The diametric opposite of that piece of garbage. With Edwin Edwards, it's just about deviant behavior, corruption, a joke. Chaz Roemer, it's about hope and smart and civic-minded and sacrificing for us to change New Orleans and Louisiana for the better. It's great stuff. Hey, Helena Moreno accusing the mayor in cahoots with the sheriff. What a couple of jokers there. But don't be critical, because I've never walked in a black woman's shoes. What? She dance, she moves, she shake. LaToya Cantrell. Anyway, the mayor in cahoots with the sheriff, basically taking Helena Moreno's assigned deputy away. Greg Malvo has been with Moreno since day one. Every council person has a vehicle, a cell phone, and a sheriff deputy. Moreno made Greg Malvo part of her staff, essentially. The mayor accusing Malvo of following her around, stalking the mayor. Talk about an ego, man. There's someone stalking me. Nah, no one's stalking you. Trust me. No one is stalking you. Trust me. Anyway, the mayor says that Malvo stalking her, shooting video, taking pictures. Talk about paranoid. Calls someone equally as inept as her, Sheriff Susan Hudson, and gets Malvo yanked off Moreno's staff. I think it's been about 5 years Malvo's been working with Moreno. Now he's been assigned to like the jail or something, like punishment. Accused of stalking the mayor. Wow. Now, I love the mayor, the video at her apartment, the city-owned apartment at the Pontalba, all supplied by the mayor. The mayor had control of that video. It's the French Quarter Corporation's video. The folks that control that apartment, that the mayor appointed every board member. The mayor controls that group, and it's their camera that Fox 8 got the video from that incriminates the mayor. It's hysterical. No, the mayor loves pointing the finger. Try looking in the mirror. Nice. We'll talk on Friday with Michael Hecht about this. John Deere's Thibodaux plant is going to expand 70 new jobs. It's a cotton harvesting facility. 70 new jobs paying about $50,000 a year. Yeah, we need more John Deere and Thibodaux type stuff. Major national Fortune 500 companies with a major, Louisiana presence and cotton harvesting, not Fortune 500 companies that pollute our air and water and all that. Corey Johnson with you on a wide open Wednesday edition of the program. Hey, Rouse's Market's been with you since 1960. Over 60 years, over 60 Rouse's Markets. There's one in your neighborhood or right next door to your neighborhood. Convenience. Every Rouse's, the latest, they open 7 a.m. Some open 6:30. The earliest any Rouse's closes, 10 p.m. Some open till 11 or even midnight. Rouse's Markets, best quality, best price, best selection. Rouse's Market, tastes like home.
Greater New Orleans, a destination for learning. With 13 colleges and universities and a booming job market, Greater New Orleans is the ultimate destination for your higher education. Your path to the future begins in Greater New Orleans. Find out more at studynola.com.
River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. NolaAC.com, your cool spot. River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. NolaAC.com, your cool spot.
Young's Dry Cleaning has free pickup and delivery. That's right. Young's Dry Cleaning has absolutely free pickup and delivery. Home or office, East Bank or West Bank. Call Young's at 288-8381 or online at youngsdrycleaning.com.
When you think of Fury's Restaurant in Metairie, you think about the freshest local seafood anywhere. Shrimp, oysters, speckled trout, flounder, snapper, soft shells, crawfish. Fury's Restaurant in Metairie.
The Woodhouse Day Spa, the premier day spa experience, is now more convenient than ever. Now open, the Woodhouse Day Spa, Metairie location, West Esplanade at Transcontinental. Metairie and Kenner's premier day spa experience is at the Woodhouse Day Spa.
Hey y'all, it's Junket Cantrell. And I gotta tell you, the summer of 2022 and the travel I've experienced, well, it's memories of a lifetime. I mean, come on, y'all. I went to Switzerland. First class, $10,000 just for the flight. The French Riviera. Singapore. How about Singer-Rich? And next, I'm heading to Africa again. All on the city's dime. Yeah, you right. It's LaToya the Destroyer. Where will I go next? One thing's for sure, I won't be paying for it. Spending someone else's money is so much fun.
She danced. She moved. She shake. LaToya the Destroyer, Cantrell, Mayor, City of New Orleans.
For game-changing innovation, look to the Latrim family of companies located in Harahan. Intralox, a Latrim company, changed the game when they invented modular plastic conveyor belts over 40 years ago. These belts and innovative Intralox technology are transforming movement in manufacturing facilities around the world. Intralox is a dynamic global company now hiring in production, warehousing, shipping, and more. If you want to be part of our successful team, visit Latrim.com. That's LAITRAM.com.
At Home Paint and Decorating, our paints are in it for the long haul. In fact, our top Benchmore exterior paints come with a lifetime warranty. Not 25 years, not 50 years. We mean forever. You heard right. At Helm Paint, our top exterior paints have a lifetime warranty against chipping, peeling, and flaking. They also are mildew resistant. Imagine painting your home one time and being done with it. Visit any one of our locations today and make that once-in-a-lifetime purchase. Paint that has a lifetime warranty. Helm Paint and Benjamin Moore. Let us steer you in the right direction.
Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, insagency.com. Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, insagency.com.
Super discount store in Chalmette.
3235 Paris Road.
The lowest price allowed by Louisiana law on wine, alcohol, and beer.
Worth the drive from anywhere.
If you're throwing a party and need wine, alcohol, and cold beer, super discount store in Chalmette.
Rouse's, New Orleans grocery store. Rouse's has the only full-service grocery stores both in the French Quarter on Royal Street and in the CBD on Baronne in the old Sewell Cadillac building. The Rouse's on the river, Tchoupitoulas at Napoleon, is in a century-old warehouse. And uptown on Ferret at the corner of Valence is Rouse's all-new boutique store. With 7 locations in Orleans Parish, Rouse's is New Orleans grocery store. Rouse's Markets. Taste like home. For home surveillance, it's Tommy's Lock and Alarms. With high-definition night vision surveillance systems, letting you see what's going on. Home surveillance that's smart, safe, secure. Tommy's Lock and Alarms. Google them. If you love Katie's Restaurant in Mid-City, you're going to love Bienvenue in Harahan. The same folks bringing a little of that New Orleans flavor to Hickory Avenue. If you love Katie's, come to Bienvenue on Hickory Avenue in Harahan.
The Lamarck Automotive Collision Center, it's open now. We fix cars and trucks. We do all makes and models. And it doesn't have to be a Ford or a Lincoln. It could be whatever you're driving. 32,000 square feet under roof, now open at 3101 Williams Boulevard. It's all about you, the customer, getting the most for your dollar. I would say the most perfect collision center anyway. The Lamarck Automotive Collision Center, 3101 Williams Boulevard. Go check it out.
Why wear the same old glasses that everyone else is wearing? Stand out from the crowd. Come to Art and Eyes. Art and Eyes is not your typical eyeglasses store. It's one of the finest eyewear shops in the country, right here in New Orleans, with precision-engineered prescription lenses and gorgeous high-quality frames from the heart of Europe, Japan, and the United States. Our products are thoughtfully curated, and our staff are here to help you find exactly the right frames. Art and Eyes, a magazine as unique as you.
Which Metro New Orleans area restaurant made CNN's top 50 in America and ThrillList.com's top 25 and has served presidents at the White House for over 40 years? Trey Yen in Mandeville.
One of the worst parts, one of the best parts about New Orleans, Mardi Gras, socializing, all that. It's also one of the worst parts. Uptown New Orleans, all this, incestuous behavior. Fred Heebe, who owns a huge mansion on St. Charles Avenue, is going to be the king of Washington Mardi Gras. That's who we're sending to DC to represent us. You know what's shocking? Fred Heebe was trying to be U.S. attorney. This is the same Fred Heebe, along with his father-in-law, Butch Ward, that owns the trash dump out in Jefferson Parish. The one that Jim Letton had. Fred Heebe was going to jail. But then Fred Heebe was smart. Not only hiring the best attorneys. When you're rich and wealthy, you hire the best attorneys. But he took it to another level, Fred Heebe, changed the game. Hey, deviant criminals, hire the best attorneys and then hire someone away from the people that are coming after his office. Billy Gibbons was a former employee under Jim Letton. I'll never forget, Hebe's like, I hired an FBI forensic expert. This is 110% BS nonsense, made up crap. I hired an FBI forensic expert. We saw this Mankins person commenting on NOLA.com, and we could tell by the flavor of the writing, the style of the writing, it was Sal Perricone. And an FBI guy got that done. That's Total nonsense. Heebe hired Billy Gibbons, who worked in that office, and he walked in one day and he said, I can get you out of this, but it's going to cost you hundreds of thousands of bucks. Hebe's like, no problem. So Gibbons, you know, a little of me faults him because he's looking at himself and I'll justify it by the law, and I got a big pile of money for it. And Billy Gibbons is smart. If you're a deviant that needs to get out of something, hire Billy Gibbons, you know? That's what he does. So basically Gibbons is like, okay, I got the money. Here's what went down. Sal Perricone and Jan Mann use aliases and comment with inside info they shouldn't be commenting on NOLA.com, stuff that only the U.S. Attorney's Office could know. We're going to pull that out. We're going to say we're going to hire an FBI forensic expert that looked at the info and the style of writing, and we'll say it was Sal Perricone, and we figured it out. And then Perricone's going to be forced to admit it because I know he's the guy that does this under this alias. Jan Mann does it under this alias. That's it. Billy Gibbons didn't do anything legal or smart or any of that. He just worked in the office, and I fault Jan Mann and Sal Perricone for doing this. But also, I love Jan Mann and Sal Perricone as pit bull attorneys that went on the tack. And Jim Letton. No, so Billy Gibbons, I'm going to free Fred Heebe, and then Hebe's like, great, I get to oust Jim Letton. And, I mean, talk about hurt New Orleans, hurt Louisiana. And again, you can ultimately say Letton should have had better control of the office where Perricone and Mann weren't posting on NOLA.com. I'm in agreement with that. But the good they did, the change agents they were, the deviants they got off the street was beyond impressive. It was revolutionary. It changed politics in New Orleans. It told people that were thinking of running, don't run because they'll get you. And it told city contractors, don't do it because they'll get you. And now it's back to the olden days. No, not a lot of respect for Fred Heebe. Just to me, I think he's just a scumbag. You know, I think he's a joker. I think he's part of the problem with New Orleans and Louisiana politics. And it's shocking. He was almost U.S. attorney, almost Jim Letton's gig. It's unreal. He's going to be king of Washington Mardi Gras. That's who the socialites, Mardi Gras, DC, that's who we're going to send. This deviant who hurt the city, that crushed Jim Letton in that office and weakened the city. And is still a deviant with the father-in-law with the trash contracts and all that. Who can forget the Garland Phil Robinette, the art studio, gets busted with the payoff, claims it was to build an art studio, it was a loan off some land his wife owned on the North Shore, blah, 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 blah. It's like Mayor LaToya Cantrell. Only once the money was, exposed, then it's excuse-making time and payback time. Would have never gone, paid back. You remember Fred Heebe had a list, like it was called like lobbyists, basically political people, influential people that can help him with his deviant behavior. Garland Phil Robinette was on that list. Don't do my job and act like you're gonna, do it. You're there for the people. You're committed to the citizenry. You want New Orleans and Louisiana to be better, and you're gonna tell it like it is. Don't claim that when you have a history of that kind of BS. No, I don't have a lot of respect for these clowns. And it's great about my gig? I avoid the big shots. Garland, Phil Robinette, I've known him for 40 years. I can't help what he's done, who he is. He's shown it. He showed it when he was supposed to be an environmental person, worrying about our coast, and he goes and takes a job with a polluter. And I've talked to the people that own that company. They're like, Garland Robinette did nothing for us. Nothing. We just paid him to get him off of television, coming after us. That's it. And it worked. The money worked. And then they sold out again with this deviant Fred Heebe. I posted something the other day at Clancy's. I go there all the time, get a good meal. I don't go all the time, but I go. I went, ate outside last week. Fred Heebe pulls up in this Mercedes Sprinter van, and Garland, Phil Robinette, and a bunch of other flunkies go in there because Hebe's paying the bill, and they're loud and obnoxious, and they go in there and do their thing. Whatever, life's great. Too bad it hurts New Orleans and Louisiana. No, not a lot of respect for these Edwin Edwards, Alario, deviant types. And what a mistake by social uptown New Orleans and the carnival folks. Washington Mardi Gras, Fred Heebe's the king. That's the best you can do? A deviant, a criminal? That's the best you can do? A guy that crushed Jim Letton in the FBI office just to get off? That's the best you can do. Fred Heebe is the king of Washington Mardi Gras. We got problems that aren't fixable. Seriously. We like failing. We like losing. We like being second rate. It's comical. Hey, check out the 4 o'clock hour. Chaz Roemer was great. Hopefully he runs for governor. Corey Johnson, 93.9 FM, New Orleans. See you mañana.